Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and in today's tutorial we are going to be learning how to embroider onto crochet. Now it can be any type of crochet project. I'm going to be working on a blanket, but it can be anything you want to add a patch to of crocheted work. So let's gather some supplies and we will jump into the tutorial. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be working on this beautiful baby blanket that my mom made for my daughter, Maddie. Um, it is finished, but she really wanted to add this M onto the corner. It's the same color, so it's going to be a very subtle change, but it will make it that much more beautiful. She did such a good job on this blanket, and I am so grateful for it, and I can't wait to add this on to make it exactly how she wanted it made. So we're going to need whatever project it is that you are embroidering onto and whatever it is that you're going to be embroidering onto the project. We're also going to need a darning needle, some scissors, and some fabric pins. So once we have all of our supplies collected, we can jump into the tutorial. Okay, so I have just laid out my blanket, and I think I'm going to put the M kind of on the corner here. This is one corner, the bottom left-hand corner. And all I'm going to do first is I'm just going to lay this out. Now, you want to make sure that the good side of your project, whatever that is on the forward-facing side. So if your bad side, for me, this is my bad side because you can see all my seams here from when I sewed these pieces together. So this is going to be my good side. So I want to make sure that I have my good side facing forward because that's what people are going to see. And I'm going to just get all my tails out here. You want to make sure that you have a long enough tail to sew on your project. And then I'm just basically going to place this, kind of just work it around until it's exactly where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to take some of my fabric pins here, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the project, the blanket, and I'm just going to put my needle through like that. Kind of like sewing if you sew. I'm sure you've done this before. Just basically securing this exactly where I want it to be on the project. Here. And the last one, oh, that needle is bent. Right, so just want to make sure that my ends here are even, and this is straight. There we go. Now I'm going to take my darning needle, and I'm just going to put one end. With this project, I have lots of ends to work with. I'm picking one of the longest ends. Some of these ends, like this one, and even this one, are kind of too short to be using. So I'm going to use this one, this one, this one, and this one if I need it to sew this on. So the important thing to do with this is we want to make sure we're not sewing all the way through to the opposite side and then back, if that makes sense. So if you sew down and then up, you're going to see those stitches on the opposite side of your work. So the trick to this is you're going to just be grabbing stitches on this surface of the blanket. So you can see here, there's a couple loops right here you can grab. There's these loops right here you can grab. And if you grab these loops here, you're not going to be able to see that on the other side, which is what we want. We don't want to be able to see it on both sides. We want it to have like a seamless attachment. So I'm just going to look and see where this lines up, and I want it to be down a little bit. So I'm just going to grab a couple stitches here, just like this. And then I'm going to go into my work, and then I'm going to grab a couple stitches. And it definitely probably takes a lot more time, I would say, but the final result is going to be much cleaner to not have to see all your stitching on the back of the work. So I'm just going to make my way up. You don't need to pull too hard. Just work your way up your project here. Grabbing a couple stitches, sewing it through. This blanket has lots of holes in it, so I'm kind of working with that as well. And then I'm just kind of pulling it just so that it's giving me the slack that I need. I don't want it to be all bunched up, if that makes sense. So now we're at the corner here. So there is one side of our M attached, and if you look on the back, other than it looking darker because there is more fabric there and seeing my safety pins there, you cannot see the stitches on this side. So it all looks the exact same as it did before we started sewing, and that's exactly what we want. So as I work around, I'm going to take out my pins, but I'm just going to wait because I still need to do this whole side here. And I may not even have enough yarn tails to do this fully, so I may have to track down my mom to get more yarn. Because like I said, she made this. And I'm just going to keep attaching. Now here I'm at a tail. I might just tie this together here. I have just such a fear of things unraveling or coming apart. So anytime I can add extra security in a project, I'm definitely doing it. So I'll just add a little knot there. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get a few more stitches out of this one. Just grab those top stitches there. I'm going to try and make it over to this yarn tail. There we go. Now again, this is another yarn tail here. I'm going to tie this off. And I'm going to take over with this new tail. And I'm just going to continue around until my project is completely sewn on to my blanket here. All right, so I have finished sewing on our M. I love it. It's so subtle because it's the same color, but you can still see it, which makes me super happy. The only thing I did was I just weaved in my ends and I just finished sewing up the top here. Now, if you look at it from behind, you can definitely see that there is an M there just because it's thicker and more filled in. There's less holes, but you can't see any sewing. There's no sewing marks anywhere because we sewed into the other side on the surface. So that is, in my opinion, the best way to embroider onto your projects, a patch of some sort, so that you can see it on the front, but you cannot see it on the back. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Let us know in the comments down below if there's anything else you'd like to see. Otherwise, we hope you guys have a lovely day and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!